Is is it working? Can
All
y'all?
right, one of us needs to do our homework and create an intro video for these things.
Really?
Yeah, get a little warm up music, a little countdown thing.
Well, I
Just so that
mean,
no one comes in midstream.
hang on, hang on a minute. Hold that thought for just a second.
Now you're gonna have to go dig out the one you made at one point. But
Hold on, hold that thought. Just hold your thought right there. All right, wait a minute.
hello, everyone. This is the night that Clack tries to find something. Well, now you're just recycling stuff from your channel.
I'll work on that.
Well, I was having some thoughts about it too, but uh, it's been
Yeah,
just been a little busy.
yeah. It's I'm finally somewhat caught up around here and doing some stuff that I wanted to do. So uh, it's gonna get worse though because it's fixing to be hot enough here. I might start cutting grass and doing more stuff outside. So I don't know. I'm gonna need some time off to do some fun stuff.
Well,
Maybe I'll get lucky and find some time somewhere. We can come up with something. We'll,
well,
we can
you
throw a
enjoy
bunch
the
of.
cutting of the grass. We're melting snow again. We had a bit of a snowstorm come through. Although they had targeted my area as getting the brunt of it, and it shifted north, which I'm okay with. We still got some snow, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
and we still got March to get through. March is usually the snowiest winter for or snowiest month for Minnesota. So I'm I'm not gonna I'm not gonna count my chickens yet, but
Oh, you got some chickens?
no,
When'd you get chickens?
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you had to like go out and count them to see how many of them made it through the winter since you couldn't see them for
Uh,
all the snow.
yeah, well, that would normally be the case. I have a community of rabbits that like to hang out under my trailer, and so every winter I got to somewhat evict them, or well, I should say spring. They hang out in the winter, but
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see who all's in here. Maybe everybody's had a chance to get in and get settled in. So we'll see. We'll see what we got going on here. Nipa Victor. Yeah, I haven't seen Victor in a little while, or either I hadn't been paying attention, maybe Victor hadn't been commenting. Hello, Chris, Scott, Jody, Scott again. Uh, ta- 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 ta. Mountain Home area. I don't know if that's near you or near me, or maybe they're talking amongst each other. Can't be certain. Aldrich Custom Crafts, York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Awesome. Ohio
yeah,
here, summer in Perth now. Okay, they're talking to each other. Wichita,
I don't
Kansas. Yeah. Illinois.
I don't think I don't think
What?
Minnesota's known for mountain home. We've got some hills,
I
but
mean, you'd be surprised. Some people, we got some places in Alabama called mountain, and it's, I mean, I guess by the technical definition it is, but it's not much of a mountain.
yeah,
Stormy Northern California. I'd like to go up there at least see the redwoods one time. That'd be cool.
yeah, that would be fun.
Afternoon from NZ, New Zealand. Dan V. Midnight Sun Woodworks. Hello to you there. It was 8 last night. No thanks. I don't need that. I had to cut the heat up a little bit earlier. It was getting a little drafty in here, and it's not very cold outside. Jeff Benedict, South Mississippi. Oh, they got skeeters over there like you wouldn't believe. Mike Pierce, hello. Chris, good day, mate. There. Soaking in rays. Florida. See, that's where we need to be, Steve. Down in Florida, it's probably already warm down there.
you know, most of my friends know me that you start talking about Florida, and I got to pull out the Gator card, and that's why I live up here.
Yeah, because y'all only have like what, maybe bears, and do you even
Oh,
have
we
bears up there?
that's the joke is that yeah, oh yeah, we've got bears, we've got wolves,
Okay,
we've
so
got
I mean,
mountain lion, we got see, everything that's wild and that can kill us up here for the most part is furry. And wouldn't you rather go in a big old bear hug than drowned by a gator dragging you underwater?
I really, if I had to choose, I would choose neither. Is
Well, of
is is is
course,
in,
but
is sleeping soundly? Is that in the list I can pick from?
well, that's just because you fall asleep outside in the middle of winter here.
Oh, okay. Uh, Paver Daddy has a question, kind of quick for one. Let's get it on it. Which laser camera would you recommend? Well, first of all, you got to figure out what your mounting options are. If you're going to be mounting it to an enclosure like what I run, or if you're going to be coming up with some way of mounting it to your enclosure, period, I prefer the fisheye cameras that I've shown y'all so many times. And I've got a link in my Amazon shop to that specific camera. That's the one that I'm running. Uh, and I'll just show you. That's the camera that's in enclosure Zilla right there. This is the flat lens version. I'd use this for an observation camera, but it's the same camera. Any of my cameras that you see in Lightburn are going to be the fisheye. I think it's an 8 megapixel camera. It's just a little board camera. I made myself a laser cuttable box to use, as well as a 3D printable enclosure to use to mount them in the enclosures, and that's what I'm running for everything now. That way I can swap them around and move them when I need to. But if you're needing something that comes with a bracket, there's Sculpt Fun makes a good one. Atom Stack makes a decent one, but any of those that are mounted on a pedestal are going to be subjected to a little bit of movement. So the more solid the mounting point for the camera, the better luck you're going to have out of it. What's your thoughts, Steve?
So I haven't had the pleasure of testing the Sculpt Fun one, but from what you did, that one seemed pretty nice, pretty rigid. Um, the other one, as far as rigidity goes, but it's been what, a year and a half. The Comgrow camera had a really nice mount that was rigid, and that's the thing that you're looking for, is something that's going to really hold its position relative to the laser. Um, Outside of that, the Atom Stack ones and Atom Stack, IKEA, I think even Wismaker had it rebranded that way. They're all kind of the same. They've got the articulating arm, which is really nice because you get out of the way, but it also is less rigid, and you're going to be recalibrating that. So yeah, like you say, if you can hard mount it into your custom enclosure, that USB one off Amazon is great. Otherwise, I'm looking for something that's rigid. I honestly, I haven't had a chance to play with it, but that Sculpt Fun one I think is nice for that, mount it somewhere it's going to stay aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's made. It's got little brackets. It's made to basically be mounted to the side of the machine, which is pretty consistent as long as you don't knock it around real hard. All right, so back through here. Chuck Peterson, we got Arnold Moreno, San Antonio, Texas, Tucson, Arizona. Out there, I bet it's warm tonight in Tucson. Chris said he tried to upload you some heat, Steve, but he couldn't get it to upload for you. So there you go. Love my 40. Hello again. Edward Cole, Mike Schmidt. Hello, Mike. How are you, sir? HTL Customs. That's the guy? He was in there with Rich and him last night, right? Am I correct in that? The holster. It used to be custom holster. Yeah, I think it is. I believe it is. Well, hello there. Was it Jeremy? Don't remember your first name. Okay. Is your name Jeremy? I may be messing that one up. Y'all know my memory is not great. Let's see. Midnight Sunwards, North Dakota. John Odom, Tennessee. Hello, are there, neighbor? 10 months of winter, 2 months of hard sledding. Whew, no thanks.
Some years that's almost true up here. Yep.
Oak Grove, California. Hello over there on the far west. Brewer, Maine to the far east. Man, we just went from one side of the country to the other just like that. That's pretty awesome. Greetings from southeast Michigan. That's like southern Canada, right? So,
Well,
it's close. But yeah, hey, we've run the gamut. We've got Texas, we've got Michigan, we got California, we got Maine. I mean, we're sea to shining sea over here. That's pretty awesome. Northeast Ohio, Texas. Jenny, I thought Jenny was in. Maybe Johnny was in Japan. Maybe I got a different one. Uh, Cornbread Crafts in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Okay. Hey, I like the name. Mountain Home, Arkansas. Okay. That makes more sense. They do have mountains in Arkansas. Keith Bordeley, Northwest Louisiana. I'll probably mess that name up if it's a Cajun name. Rusty Webb, Brandon, Aldrich Custom Craft. Man, we got quite a few people in here. What's the numbers up to? Oh, we're at 100 now. So, yeah, it's getting there. Is my air filter? Can you hear that thing running?
Just barely.
I need to go turn that off. I just realized it's still on.
But
All right, I'll let
speaking
you
of
look at these.
where
I'll let you look at these comments while I go get my remote. Where I can turn that off.
Speaking of where everybody's from, if you haven't or you're new here, we do have a viewer map. It's a Google map that we keep updated, and there should be links in both of at least our YouTube videos. If you're watching on Facebook, it might be in there. We've been trying to get those added. But there's a link to a form you can fill out. Just put either your screen name or first name, or I think you can even leave it blank, and just a general area where you're at. You don't need to put your exact address, a city, state, or a landmark near you. You fill out that form, and it'll drop it in the spreadsheet that gets refreshed on occasion by myself. It'll drop a pin on our map, and those links should also be down there as well. We've got over 350 pins on there already. Love seeing where everybody's at. So if you want to drop your pin on there, go ahead and follow that link, fill out that form, and I usually update it a few times through the stream, and then at least once a day throughout the week. So just kind of a fun thing we do to see where everybody's at. So hit up those links and check that out.
Yeah, and I thought you were calling me out for forgetting, but I did check. The links are in the description of this video on YouTube. It should have also went to Facebook, I believe, if I did
Very
it
nice.
right. But
Yes.
if I didn't, you can go to any of our Sunday night lives, and it should be in the comments. So the last 5 or 6, I think, since I started remembering to do it. Jody says, so excited, getting a mini split installed tomorrow. Steve, where are we at on climate control up there? Jody said he or she's tired of waiting on you there.
It snowed again, and so that makes it harder because I actually have to move things both inside and outside. So no, I've done a little more shopping on it, but I really need to reach back out to a couple of HVAC people. My thing here is I want to make sure that I'm getting a mini split unit that's better rated for northern climates, because I'm more concerned with it keeping up with the heat as it gets colder than I am worried about it being able to cool in extreme temperatures. Because we do get warm up here, we get a lot of humidity, but it doesn't stay as warm up here. So it's more of I'm trying to take the edge off of the heat and pull the humidity out of here in the summer, whereas in the winter, obviously, I'm trying to actually keep it warm because it can get pretty chilly up here. So yeah, I need to do my homework, need to reach out to some people, need to file my taxes and pay that big bill. Can recover from all that. But it's on my list.
Quit saying that
Sorry.
word.
It's been, yeah.
Hang on, I got Echo. Turn off the air compressor.
Okay.
But the air compressor cut on and was running. I didn't want you to be, hearing that hurt your ears. Which it's outside, so I don't know that you could even hear it, but I can hear it barely.
Well, it's amazing how many things bug us as the people in the area, because they're like, "Oh, you're probably hearing this." No, we're not really, But
yeah, the Norbert City uses the Wise cameras for observation cameras. Stuff like that works for observation, especially if you want to look at it from your phone or whatever. But when you start talking about a Lightburn camera, those typically, I haven't found a way of making one work with Lightburn without it being USB. But those you need to have a USB camera. And some of the, to be honest with you, early on I used an older Logitech webcam, and it done okay. It didn't do as good a job as the new, was it 8 megapixel cameras that I'm using. So it's a little different. It's I wouldn't say it's loud, but this microphone picks up a lot of stuff, And so that just that little bit of hum that I was hearing, I didn't know, depending on the frequency, how well the mic would pick it up, because
Hmm.
my little blower up there's not really loud, but because this microphone is kind of pointed at it, it actually picks it up pretty well. So with these directional microphones, you never know. And like I said, so try to cut everything off that's noisy, so I ain't got to run filters. Uh, ta, 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 ta. So Steve, which camera is that you dropped the link for? Is that the 8 megapixel?
That one is the 180-degree USB fisheye camera.
Yeah,
That's it's just a 2 megapixel.
two. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about the twos. Uh, but yeah, fisheye to me is the way to go. You have to make sure you do your calibration, of course. But yeah, these are 8 megapixels, the ones I'm using. They're a
Hmm.
little more they're a little more pricey, but it's worth it. Uh, but you have to do the calibration, and to believe it or not, I turn off the fisheye compensation or whatever, and just do full compensation on it. I don't try to use any of the prefabs or preloaded stuff. But
Hmm.
there's the 8 megapixel one that I've been running. The last matter of fact, it just said on Amazon, purchased 4 times in the past year. So, and part of those, some of those purchases weren't for me though. They were for some of my local friends that I was helping with enclosures, and so I had to have them to put in the enclosure. But they work well, and
Hmm.
I haven't had a problem with them going bad or anything. You do have to occasionally get in there with a like a glasses cleaner or something and clean the lenses if you're going to put them inside the enclosure, because they will build up a little bit of that, you know, dust and stuff on them.
Yeah, that
Let's see what we got.
anything plastic, like the lenses on those sometimes are glass and plastic. Anytime you get smoke running across it, it tends to have that it just like static cling of the particulate in the smoke, and that's where you'll see like on some of these acrylic enclosures after you run a couple jobs, the inside of it's just looking a little, cloudy, and it picks up on there. And so the same thing with those camera lenses, you got to watch that.
Yeah, mine's everything in here's got a layer of dust on it from this weekend because I've been making stove covers and sanding and doing lots of CNCing. You'll notice that I added to my honeycomb wall over there. I got bored, and then while I was doing some other stuff, I put the CNC cutting some more of them out. So it expanded. I think I'm done now, though. I think that's as big as the honeycomb pattern is going to get. So,
Yep.
hello, James, Lower Alabama. That's we call that LA around here. Uh, let's see. What else we got? Raspberry Pi monitoring longer. 75, 69. Paint markers. These are what I use a lot of, but I haven't used many different types of paint markers. But these are just like King Art. I get these at Walmart. They're 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 cheap. Uh, that's always a good selling point because I don't use them a lot, but when I do, they work really well. And I think you bought some similar ones. I don't know if you bought did you get the exact one, Steve? Or
No, I've got here. I'll drop an Amazon link. They're I don't know, Kukani. They're off of Amazon. Again, they were inexpensive. It was $15 for a pack of 32 of them, and I've been using them on a number of things, and they've been working out really well.
yeah.
So I'll drop that in the main one as well. I guess that was off of my channel. Yeah, they're really nice to have. I like having them for doing small detail stuff or small painting thing. They work better than normal markers because they actually put kind of like a coat of color on rather than just dye that soaks into the wood. So
Yeah.
I like having them for stuff, and yeah, they're inexpensive. So go ahead and pick up a set.
Let's see. I try to figure out where I left off. I get lost in these comments, man. They get flying on me some days. Wow. Yeah, there's a bunch of them that dropped in there. Okay, Lower Alabama. I remember that one. All right. So D Black, Suffolk, Virginia. HTL. He says his name is Jeremy. I don't remember what I called him, but Jeremy. Remember that. But yeah, HTL Customs. if y'all aren't familiar with him, he does. From what I saw in the video, primarily holsters and kydex and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff on fiber machines. So he may he may have some helpful tips for you if you, especially if you're new into the galvos and fibers. I do have a fiber and have had it for a while, but I don't do as much with it as what I do with the CO2 and the diodes. But the diodes by far account for the bulk of my revenue that I make off of doing stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the fiber thing is you're capturing a niche market, like holsters or coins or certain things. And when you grab that, there's fewer people doing that really well. So if you can find something in there that you can do well, that's a good opportunity. But kind of like you, mine sits for a bit, and then I get some project ideas or someone requests something, and I'm working with it. But I don't use it near as much as my diodes or CO2s.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, drop a. Was it Jeremy? It was Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy, drop a link if you want down in the. Well, I don't know if it'll let you drop a link, but anyway, we'll try to get around to getting a link and put in there to his channel if y'all want to check him out. Like I said, he was on live a couple of nights ago with Rich, Patrick. Y'all know Patrick. I mean, he made my legs for my MK2 over there at Light Source. He does a lot with Galvo type machines as well. But yeah, like Brad said, guys, if you're in here, please by all means hit the like button. Follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We do, even though that is kind of a vanity thing for the likes and the follows and the shares. It does actually help as far as with YouTube recommending our content to new people to kind of bring new people on board. So that's a good thing to have. God, I scrolled too far again.
And I broke it for me. Dropping
you break? You broke your comments. Well, I guess it's all on me. Let's see.
Hold on, I'll get it recovered.
Norbert, the one that I've got is probably the cheapest. It's a 6-gallon California Air, I think it is. It's the ultra quiet one. It is very quiet, but I've got mine on actually outside the shop, like literally maybe 5-6 feet through the wall right here under its own little roof. And it's really quiet compared to what I did have, but I mean, you can still hear it, but it sounds more like it's probably about the same. In here, it sounds about like one of the regular air pumps running inside an enclosure. It's not very loud at all.
Yeah, I've got mine. I run it inside here, although I'm usually in here by myself. You can have a conversation next to it, but you're definitely going to hear it. But it's not like putting on hearing protection and stop talking till it's done kind of thing. So yeah. I like mine. Once one of my others died, that was on my list to buy, and I'm happy I did. You just got to make sure it comes with the filter, right?
Yeah, you definitely need a filter on it. If it doesn't have a inlet filter, it will put water in the air. Bill, it sounds like the calibration or the lens correction or calibration's gotten messed up somehow. Either by way of it was attached to another machine or something of that sort. If the profile that you're using has not been used to calibrate for that camera, it will give you that black hole look when you open the camera up. I was going to try to open Lightburn with a machine that I haven't got a camera set up on. Let me see if I do the S1. See if I can get a camera to load. Show you what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So this is kind of what it's going to look like if the camera has not been calibrated for the machine. It's going to look like you're 10 miles above your machine. No matter which camera I go to, you're going to get that effect because the calibration has not been done with this machine profile and that camera. So you're going to need to run through the process again with the calibration to get that to go away.
Mark's commenting, have y'all noticed that the laser enclosure starts building up an odor like an old room where people have smoked a lot? And yeah, It will. That's a good reason to put some sort of sealer or paint if you built it up from wood. That'll help it from soaking into that wood, and then you can kind of wipe it down every so often. But then a lot of it is in that honeycomb. That residue gets stuck on there, and it will smell pretty bad. And so that's even if you've got good air extraction, some people complain about the smell of their room or whatever they're in smelling like smoke, and that's part of it, is that residue stays in the machine, and usually on the surface that it's blasting the stuff onto, but it can kind of get into other things that the smoke gets around as well.
Yeah. Brad, I'll tell you another trick. If you're having trouble with calibrating your camera, you can put, like you said, a white poster board underneath it. You can use cardboard. You can actually just use the material that you would normally be engraving. But one thing that I have found that affects a lot of times, especially in some of these new open enclosures, is if you have a well lit shop, the light in the shop with these open enclosures can actually cause it to white out a good bit. So you may have to like throw a blanket over it or something like that, or maybe turn some lights off to get the lighting right inside the enclosure. I had that problem recently with the Atom Stack A24 enclosure that they sent, and it was just that it was getting so much light, the camera was whiting out and wouldn't let it calibrate. So once I got the lighting right, it went through it. It got perfect scores, or not perfect, but good scores.
Yep. But the white board behind it on that Atom Stack B3 enclosure and camera, I definitely had to add that white paper to get a better contrast going. And that one has those LEDs so close, shining down on there, you're getting a lot of that overexposure as well. So
Yeah, I had to unplug those while I calibrated the camera.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Well, not board woodworking. Was asking, have either of us used Creative Fabrica software for burns or simple CNC carve art? I haven't myself, but I know I've seen other people use that as a font and artwork library. And I believe they give you, as long as you're subscribed to it, they give you like a commercial reproduction license that you can use their artwork and what do they call those things, assets in your projects and such. So not always, I mean, you know much like buying files on Etsy or whatnot, if it costs you a couple bucks but saves you an hour of design time, it can be definitely well worth it. So
Yeah, Josh is saying that he's got the Minton USB Wi-Fi laser camera. I think you've got one of those too. I know me and Steve both have them. They're actually not bad for observing the laser. Controlling it, it's a little wonky, in my opinion, because of the way you have to plug everything through it, and when you got it plugged into that, you can't run it off a light burn. So, in my opinion, the controlling the laser part, if you're using an offline controller, that would work. But when you're running it with Lightburn, you've only got one USB port on that laser, so it kind of renders that useless. But a lot of times, like some of the other guys said, there's a lot of cheaper Wi-Fi cameras that you can get that if you just want it to observe with it. But I've got one of those, and the Wi-Fi, the camera part of it works great, but the controlling the machine was just a little bit. That was just a little too gimmicky for me. I didn't need that.
yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. As far as monitoring it, I'm pretty much around my lasers all the time, so I don't worry about putting it in there for that. But as far as control and using it as a like a light burn camera, it does an okay job, but it's kind of overkill for that. And I'm with you. I'd rather control it straight from light burn myself. So I didn't really get excited about that feature, but it is there.
Yeah. Yeah, Norbert, I used to have a V twin big, 2 horsepower compressor that, had to be run on a 30 amp circuit and everything. But once I got heavy into the DeWalt and quit using, sandblasters and nailers and stuff like that had to use compressed air as much, that's when I, started having problems with it. I downsized to this California Air because now basically I use it to blow things off. I still use my air nailers, like my finish nailers, but you can run them on a really, really small air compressor. And the lasers, that's all I use the air compressor for. So when I went to replace the $800 compressor that I had, I replaced it with a $125 compressor that does everything I need it to do.
Yeah, and the 6 gallon California Air Tools, I got a friend of mine who was running that on his big 150 watt CO2. So it's versatile as far as a air source for lasers, and like you say, you can use it for other things as well. I like it. Actually have a couple others, the smaller ones, one from Harbor Freight and one from Menards that are the ultra quiet. They're all pretty close as far as volume, but the 6 gallon, if you're going to run it as an air source for a laser and such, and be more of a constant air supply, having that larger capacity definitely helps it not run as much and keep that air pressure up.
Yep. Hello, Daryl Richards. James got the 4x4 mirrors, did an engrave test, and cracked the mirror up pretty bad. That sounds like you're running a little hot because you're starting to create those little fractures inside that glass. So, my recommendation would be go faster, go a little bit less with the power, or bring it out of focus a little bit so that it's not chipping away at that one little spot. Because it's kind of like trying to break out a window, slapping it with your open hand versus hitting it with the tip of a window punch. You're putting the same amount of pressure on the window, but when you've got an open hand, you're spreading it out over a wider area, as opposed to when you use a window punch. A window punch is designed to take all of that force and put it on that one little spot inside that glass. So think of your laser beam as kind of a window punch if you've got it completely focused. Now, as long as you're not running too much power or too much heat, or too slow, you're good. But that's the three things that you have to consider: is the dot size, and the heat, which heat can be changed by lowering power or increasing speed. But what do you think, Steve? I mean, you got the same mirrors, don't you, that you've been playing around with?
Well, I've been playing with the F1. And yeah, I would agree. I'm running it pretty fast and in fairly low power in both the IR and the blue. So if you're getting cracking, or if your engraves are getting too they feel kind of splintered or you know fractured, then definitely it's a sign that it's too much heat, and then that will eventually cause the glass to break. So I think you're right on. Just speed it up or drop that power down, see how it does.
Yeah. Less heat. And the way you accomplish less heat is less power or more speed. I always go for the more speed because I'm 100%. I'm pedal to the metal. I'm just gonna adjust my speed to where it works with 100%. That way I can get through faster. For my large machine I'm building. Any suggestions? He says. Well, if you're building a machine, then I don't know what. I mean, like I said, fisheye is the way to go
Well, and you're
because you're going to get a wider field of view.
um, yeah, and I think that might be what he's getting at is the longer bed than the square one, and you're running that in your enclosure Zilla, that 8 megapixel
Yep.
fisheye, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, that's an 8 megapixel fisheye, and that is the X40, which is 850 millimeters wide. You can't see it there. Hang on, let me turn the machine on where I can do another camera. You can't see it there because that one's not calibrated. But let me connect to the machine over here so I can show you what it looks like. That's my observation camera that you're looking at right there. But once I go into Lightburn and update the overlay, this is what it looks like. So once you update the overlay and you've got everything calibrated, you can actually take and the machine will flatten out that image to let me get another picture. Hang on. Why did it change me to COM 1? Stand by. I gotta change my COM port. I just updated my Lightburn, so I'm having to go back and fix some stuff. But as you can see, it's moving it up out of the way. I use that park position that way. It doesn't put the machine in the way. But there's the honeycomb. Once you calibrate, the image will go from this over to this right here, and I can assure you that is the exact dimensions of my work area, and it's very accurate once you get it calibrated. But just we'll mention this too. For those of you that don't know, I am actually running Lightburn 1.6 currently, which is actually an alpha of Lightburn that they're working on. It has not yet been released, and it's the whole purpose of it is, I think was it Joe over at Lightburn says that they are implementing Lightburn to be capable of operating all the functions of the Xtool S1, and they think they've got most of the bugs worked out of it. There's still some minor adjustments that they're making, so that's something that's going to be coming pretty soon with Lightburn. And so if you see me doing something in Lightburn and you notice that mine's a little different, especially with the Xtool S1, it's because that version is currently not out. It's still in alpha testing now. They haven't even got it over to beta. And then hopefully pretty soon it will be able to do every function. Even they've already got it to where it works with the pen to where you can, the laser where you can mark your work area with it. They've got that working. I've got to do some videos and play around with it. But there's some new functions that I've got to learn myself because they're adding these things as they go. So that's pretty excited about that because that was my only complaint was the not being able to run it completely with Lightburn, but it looks like they're going to be fixing that. Let me turn this noisy machine back off. Actually, the machine's not that noisy. It's my little louvers that's in my enclosure doing that.
Say, it sounds like you got to replace a belt or something.
No, watch it when I open the door to quit. It's the louvers on my little vent window going up and down because of the fan.
Yeah, no, I was just it reminds me of a belt going out on like an HVAC unit or something.
Yeah, that's the vent that's in the back. You can't see it because it's right outside camera view. But I've got the outdoor dryer vents. I've got one on the inside that when I close the lid, it pulls the air from outside, and they need oiling or something because they squeak. But but the good news is I don't forget to turn the enclosure off.
True.
Just so, hey, congratulations. Hey, put some pictures on Facebook, and there will be more. They will come. Build it, and they will come. I sold a bunch of those things in the early days. People like their business logos on there. Sports stuff, especially like high school teams and so forth. You go around your local high school with one of those and donate it to one of the teachers in the school, and you'll have like 10 orders by the end of the day. People love those things. 48 by 32 cutting area. I guess that's the big machine he's making. The 48 is going to be, you're not going to have a whole lot of camera accuracy out that far, I don't think. But if you put the camera up high enough, you would. But you're going to need to raise the camera up a little bit if you're going to be going 48, probably. I would think. I haven't tried it, but I would think. Yep, you got to do it. Vince says he does the 4x4 and other size mirrors on the fiber, but it passes right through them. But it just takes off the coating. But he keeps forgetting to reverse the image. Didn't you do that with one here recently?
Well, that's the nice thing with the the X2 F1. It's got the 10-watt blue diode and then the 2-watt IR. And if you wanted it to be a little more frosted, I was finding some settings with the blue diode. But if you just wanted to blast away the material and leave it clear glass, that IR works really well. So yeah, but it's then gonna go through, and if you got too much, it's gonna go through to whatever's on bottom with either laser. So
yeah, well, if you're doing it on a fiber too, take it from me. Put a piece of wood or something on the other side of your mirror, something that will not interact with the fiber, so that you don't burn the image into your cool little black work table on your fiber machine. Because I did that. Midnight Sunworks. How tall is the honeycomb on average? I guess you're meaning the length or the width, depending on how it's oriented. 850 by 450 is about the biggest honeycomb that I've found. Have you found any bigger than that? Steve? I know Adam Stack's fixing to sell the 850 by 850, so I'm sure they'll sell a honeycomb. But
I'm drawing a blank on it right now. There's a company that will make custom size for you, in the U.S. anyway, and they've got some bigger ones. And then of course for a lot of the commercial lasers, sure, but for your typical buy it off the shelf, Amazon and other places, yeah, they're kind of following the diode trend. Otherwise, they tend to be machine specific outside that.
yeah. That's a good idea, Vince. Chris said he puts him a note in the checklist saying, is it mirrored right? So if you don't know how to use the job checklist, that is pretty handy, especially if you're bad to forget to say turn on exhaust or something like that. It's pretty handy to have. Chuck, I haven't spoken with him about the P2. That I can't say. My suspicions tell me that if the machine's popular enough that they might, but I mean, you never know. The cameras, the dual cameras, I think would be a challenge with Lightburn without some serious overhauling, but you never know. I couldn't believe they were actually supporting the S1 as much as they are. So you never know.
Well, I got to imagine the S1 without the camera is going to be easier, because it's just taking, machine feedback, and you can write a macro to, draw a box here, draw a box there, drop a 2-line kind of thing. So,
well, they said they're actually, because the X tool operates on GRBL commands as well as the X tool native commands. Apparently, they've cracked the code on some of those native commands, and they're working that into Lightburn. Is my understanding of it. Like I said, I've read through the thread because I'm in a thread with them as far as the testing and everything goes. But I don't even pretend to know the underworkings of it. I'm too busy to be trying to learn what code it communicates in or language it speaks. But I do know that from what he told me, that was the reason it had limited functionality. But they're adding that into the next iteration of Lightburn now.
Cool. Yeah, it's exciting to see that they're actually making progress on that. And, a lot of manufacturers come out and say, "Oh, it's mostly Lightburn compatible," or it's we're working on it. But I'm like, that's really up to Lightburn. I'd want to hear it from them to say, yes, we're working on the compatibility. And so excited to see that they are. Although I've been getting really used to XCS with the various X tool ones, and they've come a long way. Actually got a sneak preview of version 2.0. And there's some things that are being added to that people have been asking for that are going to, take that software even to the, getting it even closer to some of the features we like on Lightburn. So, it's great to see continued software development on these, and that's why, yes, XCS is free, but locked down to their lasers. It's great to see them develop that, but Lightburn, I'll happily pay, the $30 a year to renew the support to keep them going on developing these new features. So, some of the cheapest software I buy, really.
Yeah, and I know you're probably like me, and you have to have the Galvo license as well. So, but it's money well spent.
Well,
it gives you a one-stop shop for most of your lasers. So.
And that was a one-time add-on. Even if you add those licenses on, the renewal is so far it's just the $30 a month or $30 a year, which that's 1 month of accounting software, for a small business if you're running QuickBooks. So that's, that's an easy one to pay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Vince. That's a good idea too. It also setting it up like that is going to prevent any kind of backflash you might get off of painted surface or anything below it. I do that on the diodes because it will reflect back some and cause some discoloration on the outside of the mirror. But but yeah, it's like I said, I've got to get in there. I'm hoping that this week I've got a conference I'm going to go to this week, but it's one of those I can drive to every day. So I'm hoping maybe I can get home, decent hour. This past week, it seemed like every day something came up. I had to work till 5 o'clock. I normally get off at 4. So that took an hour away from me in the shop, and then I had stove covers I had to get done. So this past week, I really didn't have a chance to do anything laser related other than jobs. And so hopefully this coming up week, I'm gonna be able to, roll the S1 over here, hook it up, and test out some of those features. But I'm gonna have to go into the forum and make sure I got my stuff set up right and all that, to be sure I'm doing it correctly. But it's it's going to open up some doors for a lot of people that got the S1 that were a little disappointed, I think, in some of the features being missing. I think this is going to definitely fix that. So uh, stay tuned. Hopefully there'll be some light burn, 1.6 slash X-Tool S1 videos in the next week or two.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you. I've always versatility sales. I don't care what it is, because when you start getting too proprietary, you start limiting your customer base. Because if I'm somebody that's a light burn fanatic and you tell me your machine won't work with light burn, then well, it's disappointing for me. And I probably won't use your machine as much as I do the other ones that do work with Lightburn because that's where I'm comfortable. That I don't want to have to learn a new software every time I get a different laser. So that's just like with the CNCs. VCarve is that's what I'm going to be using to design my files. Now the Shapeco, if they ever put it on a truck and send it to me, they have their own design software. But because I've already gotten comfortable with VCarve, I think the versatility of VCarve to be able to send it to other machines is awesome. That's probably going to be my go-to as far as file design for the CNC, even though it costs me a pretty good bit. It's going to cost me even more once I get to where I'm over that, 525 millimeters? Because I'm going to have to upgrade my license to the Pro. But it's worth it to me to not have to learn a new software for every machine because in the event somebody wants to send me another CNC to test out, I don't want to have to, I can't use, the software for the Shapeco, so I got to go to this, and now I got to learn it. I want to be able to use one software with all the different machines, and so that's why I'm going to have to just take it and pay that extra money for my VCarve. But
Yep.
Until then, I've been putting the Jinmitsu to work. I actually had to break down the other day, and I did find out one negative about the Jinmitsu. So before you start to do it, I'll go ahead and let you know, Steve. Do not try to fix your spoil board, like level your spoil board, using a bit. You can't reach all the boards.
Oh.
So you wind up your work area is lower than the area around it. So
Sure.
I wound up having to pull them all out and run them through the planer to get it back flat.
Well, yeah. So, and I mean, that's a problem in general because then you don't know that it's trammed to your gantry as well. So normally your spoil board should be just your working area and or just a hair bigger where you can use a larger, surfacing bit.
Oh yeah, I've got an 1.5 inch surfacing bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're right.
1.5 inch surfacing bit,
it's just
it
gonna
will
dig
not
down
reach
into it.
all those boards.
Right. Well, but yeah, what I'm saying is that you can run it through the planer, but you don't know that those boards are perfectly trammed to your gantry as well. So.
Oh no, they're not. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
That's where a lot of times I'll use that as just I'll sacrifice the 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch and put my own spoil board on top of it of MDF, and then you can flatten that with the other one. So.
Yeah, I did that for a while using a piece of plywood, but I had thought about getting me a piece of MDF and making it exactly the size that it needs to be and put it over top of this. But I'm just waiting on the truck to deliver my other one, and this one's like going to be needing a home. There comes Callie coming down from a nap, but so I'm not really wanting to go through that much trouble for the spoil board right now. But anyways,
Verl, I use both, but my one gripe with using Lightburn on the F1 is it defaults every single job to the blue diode laser, and so if you forget to hit that button to switch it back over to the IR, it's an annoyance. So that's my one gripe about Lightburn. Otherwise, Lightburn does everything I need to with the F1, but between the P2 and now playing with an S1 for a bit, I've had to get used to Creative Space a little bit more. So I guess I'm warming up to it that way. So I don't mind using it for basic things, but yeah, it's kind of you learn something, you want to go back to it. That's kind of what Clack was just talking about with Lightburn is I want to be able to use it with the lasers because if I get stuck, I want to go back to what's comfortable.
Yeah. Steve, I'll put it to you this way: I have paid for a Shapeoko 5 Pro about 15 to 16 days ago. I bought it I paid for it on February the 2nd. Now they said ship times would run anywhere from 15 to 17 days. So I'm hoping Monday I get a notification saying that my order has been shipped. But I've got the Shapeoko 5 Pro coming with all the goodies. Went ahead and broke down and bought the spindle. So I'll have a 1200 watt spindle on the machine straight out the gate. I don't even think I'm even going to put a router on it. I'm going to go ahead and set it up with the spindle as soon as I get it out of the box. I'm trying to go ahead and check my order while I'm at it, but I'm having to prove I'm not a robot. So, yeah, apparently my orders are still unfulfilled. So if anybody works at Carbide 3D and you see my order sitting around, go ahead and push that guy to the front for me, please. Because I'm really wanting to play with that thing. And it ain't here yet. I've got everything. I've got the wiring. I've got to put, I do have to still put, I'm going to put 2 more 20 amp circuits on that wall over there because when I originally wired this place, there was nothing over there that required electricity. So I've got one 20 amp break circuit that powers the dust collection and everything. So I've got to add 2 more. So I'm going to put 2 more 20 amp circuits over there. I've bought the wire, the breakers, the plugs, everything. I've just got to take a moment to get the ladder out and take my wall board off so I can get into the conduit that goes out to the power pole and run the wire and everything. Hopefully I'll have that done before it gets here. If not, I just won't be able to use any of my power tools while I'm running the CNC because that 1200 watt spindle is probably going to, between it, the dust collection, and the machine itself, is probably going to push that 20 amp circuit to the max. Cool.
Wow. I think we just lost him. And he's
No,
back.
I don't know what I clicked on a comment and you're froze
It
on my
kicked you
end.
out.
Yeah, you're froze on my end, so maybe that's just a glitch. I guess I'm still here. Am I still here, Gus? Hello?
I'm wondering if Clack is not getting the good feedback here. Because I could see him, but he can't see any of us. So, are you
Well,
here?
I'm here, but you're froze on my screen.
Well, I can stop and start this. Is that any better?
Nope, still the same old Steve. It's just kind of like a cocked head smile. But anyway, they're saying we're good. I can see you're moving on the left side of my screen, but on my broadcast preview, you're sitting still. So I guess
Okay.
we're good.
Well,
I guess
enjoy that.
It's kind of creepy, but yeah, that's crazy. You're both locked. You're both locked at this point. Both are good. Now you're back. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it was just like I clicked on a comment and it said disconnected, connected. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you. All right. Well,
I'm gonna stay away from those comments.
we'll deal with the technology glitches.
Yeah.
So where were we at? We were talking about CNC machines.
Yeah, I was trying to see if anybody that actually worked, over for Carbide 3D, maybe if they could just like push my order to the front, that would be awesome. Because I do plan on trying to get some time on the machine. I do have the trip coming up at the end of the month, going over to the Workbench Con, which is going to be my first ever conference for anything having to do with maker stuff or creator stuff, which is kind of exciting. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I just too many other things going on. This spring has not. Well, this early. It's not spring yet. This first part of the year has not been kind to my schedule. So
yeah,
you'll have to let me know how it goes.
Like I said, I'll take some notes. If I learn anything good, I'll come back and let you know. Probably just be told a lot of things that I'm doing wrong. That's kind of what I figured. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, somebody had asked me if I had looked at the MK. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I looked at the long mill MK2, and it was very comparable to the Shapeco X. What is it? Shapeco 4 XXL, but it still had belts. It still had the rubber wheels, and I wanted to get something that had lead screws or ball screws and linear rails because I feel like that's better suited for what I'm wanting to do, and I figured it'd be a little bit less problematic in the long run. And out of the machines that had that, of course, you have the Onefinity, the X-Carve Pro, which was grossly overpriced, and the Shapeco 5 Pro. And so then it came down to the Onefinity and the Shapeco. But since Steve has the Onefinity, I felt like we could kind of, bring a little more to the table as far, especially with the Sunday Night Lives, comparing machines and what they're capable of and what software works here and there. If we had different machines as opposed to having the same machine. Plus, I kind of like the idea of having a subframe other than just sitting it on the table and bolting it to the table, because I feel like, to me, I can work better with that as far as clamping stuff down and being able to secure materials, and it just seems a little sturdier. And they really got me when they put the LED light strip down the gantry. I'm not gonna lie, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because that is so cool. So that's where I wound up going. But I do feel like the variety of content we'll be able to bring to the table is going to be better with us having two different perspectives on CNCs, because I have no doubt the Onefinity is a good machine. Another thing that I did like about the Shapeco was that I've got a buddy here. It's a local friend of mine in town, and he is on his second Shapeco, and he does some really good work. I've watched his machine run, and I just felt like that was what I needed to go with, and so we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that goes. What is this? Another Sunday Night Live to have Dave smile. What? What the heck? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't smile a whole lot, guys. I mean, that's just not. I don't smile in pictures a lot.
Well,
I feel like now I'm all shamed.
yeah, but no, that's actually something that I've had to work on a bit. I mean, my wife's a photographer, so of course I'm hearing it all the time. But on there's a difference between sometimes people's on-air personalities, I should say, versus kind of their natural, resting state personality. And in some cases, yes, when I'm doing my thumbnails and other things, I will sometimes feel like I'm over exaggerating the expression to make it not look like I'm just grimacing. So,
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because of my career. I'm just, when I take photos, I don't smile. So the only way you catch me smiling is if you freeze frame it, and I don't have the best smile, guys. All right, so that's not really, it's not really my strong point. Chris Oliver, top 5 channels to watch on YouTube. Well, I got a lot of local channels that I watch because they're my friends. So as far as like view hours, it would probably be them. I watch a lot of Maymay's content, but it's like I said, we're good friends. I got some friends of mine, Chestnut Hills, Cog Hill Farm, and keep in mind too, a lot of my watching is actually listening because I play it on the speakers here or either on my Bluetooth while I'm working in the shop. I like a lot of Steve's videos. I watch and work. Let's put it that way. I'll listen to what he's saying and I'll put it on the TV that's over there, or either the one that's over the door, and I'll just let it play and listen to it that way. As far as woodworking stuff, I do more topic research, I guess. Of course, I watch a lot of Rich's videos back, especially when I was first getting started in Lightburn. I've gotten a little more confident now in my light burn skills. But I support a lot of other channels in their lives and stuff. Like I said, was it Jeremy can tell you, I was in the live the other day with Rich, where I was in the audience with Rich. It was Rich, Jeremy, Patrick, and don't remember who else was it? Don't remember the other guy.
3D HP.
Yeah, 3D HP. That's right. But I support a lot of folks by watching their lives or listening to their lives while I'm in the shop working. If I know about them, there's a lot of good channels out there as far as different content. I'm more of a how-to. Like I just seek out. Okay, if I want to make something, I seek out content that is topic oriented mostly. But I do have, like I said, my friends and other channels that I support uh, to try to watch, especially their lives and stuff. But what about you, Steve? Your top 5? I mean, how does that? I mean, I know it's
Wow.
Clack Shack's got to be number 1, but what are the
I
rest of them?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of going through my watch history here, because I have a variety of interests, but if it's more relational to kind of what we're doing here, I like you, I tend to try to at least watch or at least listen to other people's just to kind of keep up with what they're doing and give them some support. One that I definitely like to watch and see is Sam Craft. He did a series on building his new workshop, but now he's kind of getting back into it now, and he's showing his layout, which is kind of cool. And he's done a lot of things similar to what you and I do with lasers, and a little bit. He's actually getting back into his CNC stuff with an older Shapeoko and such. Um, More traditional woodworking. I like a channel called Bourbon Moth Woodworking. He's out in the Pacific Northwest area. He's got a really cool style. He throws in some humor, but does some really nice traditional woodworking mixed with some more. He's played around with a few more. Like I think he's had a CNC and a laser in his shop at some time. But with that, there's mixed in some other stuff. I mean, there's a show, there's a channel called First We Feast, and it's Hot Ones, and this guy interviews people while they're eating or hot wings, and they go up in scale from real mild hot sauce to just crazy high on the Scoville rank. But he's a really good interviewer, and all these celebrities go on there and they actually enjoy it, because he does his good research on it. So sometimes I'll just pop that on in the background as well, and like you, a lot of I've been researching teardrop campers and mini splits and things like that. But
Well, keep it
um,
up with the mini split stuff. You need that.
yeah, but no, I try to I try to keep an eye on what's going on out there, but I also try not to be too influenced by other people's channels, or their opinions. I don't want to necessarily watch what someone else has done with a laser that I'm maybe reviewing before I get a chance for me to review it. I might go back afterwards and watch it and see if we kind of compared, but I don't want to influence my or bias myself in any way with some of that. But so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place with the YouTube stuff. So
Yeah, I watch. Like I said, I've been keeping up with Sam for a while too. And to be honest with you, I emailed him because I knew from his content that he had a Shapeco, and I asked him, "Hey, what do you think about it? I mean, if you had it to do over again, what would you do?" And he told me he had good luck with it, likes the machines, made a lot of cool stuff with it. And so I told him that I was looking at getting the 5, and pretty much he said that he thought that was a good move. So him, 731 Woodworks also has a Shapeoko. There's a few other channels that I found that have the Shapeoko 5 Pro. Some of them are literally like, really, really new channels, really, really small as far as number of subscribers and stuff. But I was able to watch those videos and see what they liked about it and what they didn't like about it. Because, like you said, I don't really want to. You got to be careful. I don't want to get to where it's too much of a, you know, one of those videos. Like I watched all the videos on Shapeoko's YouTube channel, but they sell the machine, so I had to try to kind of find me a non-biased uh, channel to watch, and I felt like you said, uh, Sam and over at 731 Woodworks, those places, you can actually see what they're doing with the machine and see if it's if it's something that I wanted to do. And like I said, my local buddy Tip, he said he's working on his second Shapeoko, and he had no regrets. And so I'm like, you know what? I think this is a route I'm going to go. The price was right there with the Onefinity, and it does have the bit setter that between tool changes, it'll automatically go over there and do a touch off, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought that was some added technology to the
mhm.
machine. And so it does have a few things extra out of the gate that the Onefinity does it, but I'm just hoping it's as sturdy as the Onefinity, because I have no doubt the Onefinity is solid. I mean, you can look at that thing and tell it's a beast. I'm hoping that the one that I'm getting is equal to that, or at least has enough rigidity to handle that 1200-watt spindle that's going on it.
Yeah. And Norbert just dropped in. I mean, if you were asking probably my top 5 of like the big guys out there in the maker space and such, well, except for the first 2, but Jimmy DiResta makes something. I like to make stuff. Those 3, they have a good collection of skill set. Make something. He does a lot of
Yeah, I've
mixing.
watched
I
some
mean,
of
he's a
his.
very eclectic guy. He mixes in the lasers and the CNCs with traditional woodworking. Jimmy DiResta is all over the place. If you want to make something, he's probably done it. And I like to make stuff. He's a really cool guy that gets into some of the more technical stuff. I mean, he gets into Arduinos and arcade cabinets and such. I actually bought his plans and built a bar top arcade early on in the pandemic with my boys as a project. So yeah, those are some definitely some cool ones out there.
Oh, and
But
as for I about forgot, I watch a lot of Stumpy Nubs. I don't that
oh
guy.
yeah, yeah,
That guy is. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge, especially about tools and the different techniques and stuff. Which I was a little shocked to find out that he still had all of his fingers, because when I saw the name of the channel, I thought
yeah,
maybe he was missing a few. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, I watch, and like I said, I see all kinds of YouTube channels, and if I'm bored, whatever shows up in my news feed, I watch a lot of it. But I
Well,
don't sit still a whole lot either, guys. Y'all know from seeing the stuff that I do here. Days of me just sitting down watching YouTube videos since I recovered from the back surgery. Now, during back surgery, I think I watched every channel on YouTube, because that's all I could do was sit there on my smart TV and just casting from the iPad. But since I've got back
yeah.
on my feet, I haven't really, other than when I'm in here working. That's the only time I get to sit and just kind of listen to it in the background.
Yeah, I'm like you. I have it on. A lot of times I'll have it on just to have my headphones on. The problem is if I sit there and watch it, then I'm kind of not as productive sometimes. But there's just too much out there, and a lot of great stuff. So, um, I mean, it's threatening. I mean, other than the actual like you need a piece of paper degree, um, there's so much knowledge you can get online that's is sometimes better than your
Yeah.
typical paid for education. So but you got to filter it. But anyway,
Yeah.
lots out there.
Mark's asking, has the accent wall behind the CNC grown? Yes, it has, Mark. What was it? Saturday morning when I got up and I was working on doing some stove covers. So I ran out to the kiln, got some more of that scrap wood, and brought in here and just fed the CNC. And I got carried away, and I just kept putting pieces of wood on there, letting them cut them out. And yeah, that's what I wound up with. So yeah, it's gotten a lot bigger, but that's where it's going to stop. I think that is. I think that has reached as big as I want it to be. So yeah, it has grown since that initial picture. And I did the one behind my table here, but I'm limited on how far that one can go. It's pretty much grown to the perimeter.
I have a question from Viral here. Bought some patterns for slate coasters that are black background with a light image. Do I still invert? If they're patterns, you could go either way. It's just going to be the reverse of whatever it is. So you just got to remember anything that's black in your image is going to get burned. Anything that's white is going to be ignored. But if you want to invert that so that the white shows up versus the black, that's it's gonna it when it's not a photorealistic one, but it's a pattern, you can kind of go either way and see what you like. But you just got to look at it and like I say, anything that's white on there isn't going to get burned. That's native. So, and with slate coasters, remember if it screws it up, get yourself a random orbit sander, sand that off, and start over. You can do that a few times. They start getting a little thin after a number of them, but it's one nice thing. As long as you don't get into that rough edge, you can just sand it down.
Yeah.
I think someone had asked as well how I like the Onefinity. Um, and yeah, I bought into the Onefinity not necessarily right away at their launch. I had thought about it, and then I regretted thinking about it because by the time I decided it, it was I could have had it already, and there was a wait list. But I have not had I don't have a complaint about it for how I use it, and this is kind of coming off of I was using it was an open builds ox style machine, aluminum extrusion wheels, belts, the rollers, all that. And I ran that machine hard, but I kept having to um, replace wheels, adjust belts, things like that. And it was just getting frustrating. And so, on the tail end of all that production stuff, I was running this Onefinity. The only difference between those two machines that I don't have on this one was I had a vacuum bed on that one, which isn't it adds a little complexity, but it also adds some options. And that's more so when I have lighter weight material that I want to hold down. So like balsa wood or even foam, it works great for that. But I haven't needed that outside of, if I'm doing your traditional plywood or hardwood milling on the Onefinity. I love it. You got to maintain it a little bit, but that's more of just cleaning out, making sure you clean out and re-oil the bearings. Um, and keep the it when it gets really cold in here. I've had a couple times where it has a false stop of where it thinks it's hit the when it's homing. But other than that, I haven't really had any issues with it, and I am debating jumping up to the Pro. They do offer an upgrade path anytime they can. They can't always offer a straight upgrade path, but like last time, I expanded mine to the wider rail. They gave me a good deal. I shipped the old one back. They refurbish it. So that's another thing I really like about them is that whenever they can, they allow you to upgrade your machine with new parts. So I've been very happy with them. I would definitely recommend it to someone that is looking for something beyond your starter benchtop machine. They do take up a bit of space. They are a little more expensive, but it is a really decent machine.
AGT saying that he's looking for a video on cleaning that we create. He was told there was a video on their channel, but he's unable to find it. I haven't. I guess I need to do one. Everybody keeps asking
Yeah,
about that, and I be honest with you, I haven't used it in a while. I guess I need to
I
clean it.
so the cleaning video is in the middle of one of their live streams, and I can't remember which one, but it's somewhere around Christmas, I think. They were showing some patterns, and then they brought in their guy to clean it. Um, and It's not terribly difficult. The hard part about it is to clean the lens. You actually have to tip the whole laser on end. You got to slide the tray out, tip the whole laser on end to get at the end cap because you can't easily take that module off. So that's kind of for something that needs to be done fairly often. That I feel is a bit of an oversight on their part, having to tip that whole machine on
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
But
that's not ideal.
no. But yeah, it's in one of their live streams, and yeah, maybe you or I need to just kind of go through and say, here's the
Well,
quick cleaning
sounds
tips
like
on
you
one.
know the process. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna figure it out. JJ, I have been through. I will tell you this: bits make a difference, and cheaper bits don't work as well as the more expensive bits as far as keeping an edge and longevity. I started out with some cheap Jinmitsu bits that I got off of Amazon. Those did okay, but it seemed like they got dull after several weeks of use. Then I've went up now to Speed Tools is the ones that I'm using now. They're not as cheap as the Jinmitsu, but they're still not as expensive as some of the other ones like IDC or like some of the other guys are talking about with the Genies and stuff like that. But so far, they're doing me a pretty good job. And until I get really accustomed to the machine, make sure I'm not going to be, cutting any more screws or metal or anything like that with them, I don't really want to go getting into the more expensive bits just yet. I know that's coming, but right now, I wanted to spend my money on the machine and maybe go with the cheaper bits and stuff until I get more comfortable. And then after I've made a little bit of money with the machine, try to reinvest that into getting some better bits. But for right now, I'm just using the Speed Tools. They on Amazon they have a kit that comes with basically your basic bits. It just comes with a 1/4 inch down cut, up cut. I think an 1/8 inch down cut, a spiral, as well as a couple of rounded bits and a couple of V bits. And it's like $70 something for 5 or 6 bits. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Those bits seem to be working really well for the price. But once I get the machine in here and I start actually turning out a lot of jobs, I do suspect I'm going to upgrade to some of the more expensive, better built, solid. Because like the ones I've got now, they're coated, but they're not solid carbide. So solid carbide bits are kind of the Cadillac of bits. Now, with the carbide also comes the situation of carbide snaps a little easier than steel that is coated with carbide. So that's one reason why I'm not wanting to get into those expensive bits just yet until I get all of my feed rates and all that figured out. But Steve, you've probably broken a lot more bits than I have. So what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on what you're working at. When I was doing the model airplane stands, I was using actually it was this really funky 2 millimeter bit that I ended up having to buy from a place out of Texas, and I'd buy like 25 or a 50 pack at once because I would dull them out pretty quick. Um, but that was because I was going for a mixture of speed and I needed a certain fine amount of detail for. I was actually pocketing out these star knobs for the 1/4 20 bit, and so it couldn't be a very big bit to make that work well. So in that case, it was I was going with a little cheaper bit. But I would recommend that. I would go for inexpensive bits because as you're learning your CNC, and even as you get better, but especially as you're kind of learning it, you're going to have a lot of those oops moments. You're going to crash into things. You're going to snap bits off. You're going to bury it down into the spoil board. And you will continue to do that as you get. I mean, I've been doing this for 10, 12 years since I got my first CNC router. I still on occasion do that dumb move and drive something into it. But as it's you want something inexpensive when you're learning, but you also start to see where having better tools or better equipment can make up for bad habits you're learning because of bad equipment. So I really like the Jenny bits from Cadence Manufacturing. They are good bits, and the owner supports the hobby. He supports hobbyists. He's active, and he's a small business out of Arizona. It's kind of a win-win in my book. Along with that, there's also, Amana Tools has just a wide variety of bits. They've got a huge tool collection. So if you're looking for a specialty bit, I go with them as well. But Speed Tools are a good kind of middle ground. Once you've kind of gotten a bit of a handle on it and you want to start venturing into other bits, they have a nice selection. But, starting off, depending on your machine, you're probably going with a down cut 2 flute 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch bit, and you're just going to want to have a few of them because you're gonna break a few.
Or you're going to run them to the point where they get dull.
Well, that too. I mean, hopefully you do, but that can also be because you ran them too hot or too fast. If you have your proper chip load, your bit stays cool, it should stay sharp for quite a while.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you, if you cut the head off of a screw with one of them, it won't cut right afterwards. It wants to have a little bit more of a sing to it when it's cutting. They start getting really loud. What do you use to lube lasers is what Chuck's wanting to know. The P2 to be exact. And uh, that's going to depend a lot, I guess, on. I mean, I haven't even really had to do a whole lot of lubrication to the P2 so far.
Well, everybody knows you need some Peng Shang.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got the Peng Shang. That's what comes with it. But which is basically, if I'm not mistaken, all that is like a real thin lithium grease, is it not?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's a little sticky for my preference.
Yeah.
It tends to attract just as much, smoke and debris and whatnot. So, I've used a something as simple as light machine oil, that is definitely there. You probably need to do a little more often with that because it's not going to put as thick of a coating on, but it's fairly clean. You put a light dab on there and it goes a long way.
And it doesn't
In
collect dust as bad as the grease does.
Right. Give me just a second.
But this is just a 3-in-1. Basically, this stuff, if you don't have this at your house, you're missing out. This works great on squeaky doors, squeaky chairs, squeaky whatever. And it also is good for these little small machines and stuff. But I use, like on the X tool, I'll use their little ping shing stuff a lot of times. But like with the CNCs and stuff, I've started using more of this on the CNCs because it's thinner and it doesn't collect the dust as bad. So, that's kind of my go-to now is the all-in-one or 3-in-1.
Well, I was also going to suggest
Steve's probably got some high-speed, low-drag stuff.
this is some white lithium grease, but it's in this, it's more of a spray-on kind, and so it's not quite as thick and sticky, but tends to work really well. And then the other thing, I was trying to see what I could find, garage door rail stuff. That there's a spray-on lubricant for that works pretty well. That doesn't attract a lot of dust and such. So. Yeah, Shelby Horner's talking about spray silicone. You just got to be kind of careful that you don't get it on things that shouldn't have some of that on there. So you want to make sure it just kind of goes on the rails and it doesn't go everywhere.
North Alabama finally made it. How are you, sir?
Mark's asking, any CO2 galvos in for either of us in the near future?
Not that I'm aware of, but that's subject to change. You never know.
Yeah, I'm not in the market for one. I don't have an immediate need for it, so I'm not like going out trying to buy one myself. But I wouldn't if someone came to me with a really good offer on one, I'd consider it. More so out of curiosity of what can I do with it?
Let's see here. I went over it, the cleaning of the S1 in one of my videos, I think, but I don't know if it was live or what. As far as a dedicated video to it, I guess I need to do those. I'll let you do the We Create. I'll do the S1 about it.
Oh, sure, right. Well,
I don't want to have to tip my laser over because the S1 is easy. The S1 is easy.
Well, and I just ran through my P2 this morning as well, but Samcraft did a really good video on that, so I'm kind of like, I mean, I'll just refer people to that one. I'm sure I can make my own.
Has he done one on the P2? I might need to watch it before I.
Yeah, he's done a decent one on the P2. Goes through pulling the mirrors and the lens and how to clean it out and such. So, yeah. It's you. If you've run yours a bit, you probably want to check because I've noticed it. At least on mine, the mirrors tend to pick up stuff really easily. So you want to stay on top of that.
Yeah, I've been when I wipe down the inside of it, I've been keeping me like a little kind of control area in the back left corner to see how dirty it's getting there, so that maybe that'll give me an assessment of how dirty it's getting everywhere else. And it's actually staying pretty clean. But now you've got to understand too, the exhaust on that machine, the way I've got it set up, it's only like 26 inches. So I've got really good exhaust flow, even with that little fan that they put in there, because it literally goes out the back of the machine over to where the plug is in the back of the machine, through the wall to the outside. So my exhaust has nowhere to go, and so I think that's helping keep a lot of that dust and stuff down inside it. The outside gets dusty, but so far the inside's staying pretty clean.
That's good.
V said, hello from East Texas, just popping in, working on engraving tile with her diode. Wish her luck. Good luck. Tile can be really, really awesome and can be really, really stubborn depending on what it's made out of and what kind of coating it's got on it. It is dusty, though. I will tell you that. Anytime you're doing tile, ceramic, well, not ceramic, slate, it gets dusty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dennis. Like I said, Dennis is saying that Genies can be pushed harder and faster without breaking. I don't doubt that they're worth the money. It's just kind of like if I was going to teach my daughter to drive, I'm not going to go buy a Mercedes to do that in. I'm going to go. We're going to go jump in my old 2005 Trailblazer. I just until I get the training wheels off, I do not want because it would break my heart to have a $80 bit and run it through something that it didn't need to be ran through. Which I'm getting better at that. My biggest thing right now with the Jinmitsu is a lot of times I'll probe the machine and I'll forget to reset the X and Y, and so when I send the job, it winds up going somewhere that it's not supposed to go. But I'm getting better about it.
Well, it's the same thing with lasers. You got to have your workflow.
And I'm getting better at it. Like I said, and it'll probably change when I get the new machine. I plan on doing a build video with it. I've already got Klein lined up to come help me because from what I've seen of some of the other builds, not that I couldn't do it by myself. I mean, I have floor jacks and whatever. So I mean, it's not like it's gonna be too heavy necessarily. But everybody that I've talked to, every video that I've watched said that it's a little easier to get all the screws lined up properly and all that with two people, especially for the gantry, because that gantry is 4 foot wide and it's already assembled. So it's not something that you want to sit there and try to hold with one hand and start a screw with the other, because then you risk cross threading a screw. So I feel like it'll be better to have an extra set of hands. And besides that, Klein is just dying to see the machine. I asked him if he would be willing to get up on the table and pose with the machine. He didn't say no. So he didn't say he would, but he didn't say no either.
Well, I'll maybe reach out to them and just say, hey, I know Clack's in a hurry for this, but if you hold off till late April, I'll be down there. I'll be able to help him out with it. So just have it shipped, maybe the 3rd week of April for him, and he'll be good.
Oh no, I want this machine as quick as I can.
Yep.
Vero, I use millimeters per second on everything. And my argument was about a year and a half ago when we were running 20-watt diodes and 10-watt diodes. My argument was then that the speeds of diodes would soon catch up with CO2s, and that moment is upon us. The speeds of most diodes now are comparable to the speeds that you run with most CO2s, except for some of your really high end ones. But so the need for having millimeters per minute, in my opinion, has passed. Now all it is you get this really big number to look at. My thing was when I first started, I started with an X-Tool D1 10-watt. Their software was in millimeters per second. That's what I learned in. That's how my head keeps track of what materials need what setting. And I just don't want to change it. And I don't like going from one machine to the other and having to change it. It's just easier for me. If you're not holding a number plaque, it's not a mugshot. What? I missed something.
Well, we can hook you up with a mugshot.
Oh, I've actually had a mugshot before, a long time ago. I may or may not have been riding in the car with somebody else that had an alcoholic beverage in a dry county.
Oh, it's always someone else's fault.
It actually was, but I married her,
know,
so she married me for taking the rap for her. So I was the only one in the car over 18 that didn't live at home, so I took the charge.
Now, I'm someone earlier today posted a photo, and in the caption or the description, they said, haven't aged a day. I kind of think they're fooling themselves. I think they're fooling themselves just a little bit.
What? Man, come on now. Hang on. We're going to take a vote on this. Give me just a moment here, Mr.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how public opinion falls this way.
Give me just a second. I gotta go find it. Here we go.
Oh, apparently that comment was because the thumbnail picture. You're not holding a sign. It's not a mugshot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I can't help it. It just happens that way. Let's see, presentation, blah blah blah, background music, video. Okay, can I not? Can I not do a photo? No, it won't let me do a photo. So we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this old school way. I'm just gonna have to screen share it. Let me go to my downloads here right quick. All right, and
Make it
let me
nice and big
close
here.
that. Oh, I got it. I got it. If I got it full screen, let me zoom it in a little bit here so everybody can make it out. All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna need y'all to vote. I said I haven't aged a day. Steve says I have, but here we are. Oh, wrong button.
Oh, yeah, there you
Wrong,
go.
wrong button. Why is it? Hang on,
Inception.
hang on. It's going to the wrong one. Let me get my buttons fixed. Because I moved my monitors the other day.
Hmm.
Hang on. Give me
Something
just
about
a
a high tech redneck here.
Yeah, give me just a second.
I feel like I switched the screens way too soon now, and this is just
Top
awkward.
screen. Let's see if it works now.
Nope.
Nope. Hang on. We'll just do this. How about this?
Okay.
How about
Well,
that?
you got it. Okay, now we need the side by side of you, not me.
Well, there it is right there.
Hmm.
That was taken. I think it was Brandy's junior prom. Yeah, I think I was like 17 years old in that picture. And I mean, it looks uncannily like me today. I just look right here. Hang on, hang on. Let me see if I can get this right.
Yeah, you got to pose right.
All right. So, what do you think? I think I look the same. I don't think I've changed that much. I really got to fix my screen share here, though.
Yeah, you keep flipping back to that. So, what do you people think? Yep, Vince says you've aged plenty. That's that. As a matter of fact, we got to put that up there. Make sure he sees that when he hops back from jumping on there. But sorry, Clack. I think you've aged a day or two. Now, Brandy, maybe not, but you definitely.
Oh, okay, I got it fixed now. I can show you my top screen. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Yeah, I moved my monitors the other day and put the bigger one down low. Well,
Yep.
guys,
See, says it right there.
hey, yeah, I actually have aged at least 10 years since that picture was taken. But yeah, it's Facebook keeps throwing these pictures up, and I'm not even going to show you the other one. Yeah, it's the beard's all it is. That's all it is, Chris. It's the beard, and now that I got my platinum blonde highlights up here, I mean, and I don't have the curls. I lost my Billy Ray Cyrus, but kind of dark picture tonight too. Huh? What? Is my background too dark? Now I did put a.
Um,
I hadn't noticed it. Well, I've heard lots of different stories about getting older, and whoa, Steve,
yes.
Steve, you're
Can you
just
hear
showing
me?
the little. Yeah, you're just showing the piglet sign though.
I know my application crashed.
We'll
It
get,
couldn't.
we'll get. Well, now I can't hear him. Okay, Steve.
All right, here, do this. We can just look at that. Hey, little talking logo. Give me a
There you
minute.
go.
This is just like technology nightmare night, isn't it?
Oh, well, you were making fun of me because I had my buttons mixed up, and that's just karma. It just what goes around comes around, Steve. Enjoy the medicine that you dished out. Oh me. Shelby do glass with the coating. What's up, Albert? How are you, sir? Hey, no such thing as being late. We just get in here and messing around. You can always watch the replay. That's the cool thing about YouTube is you can go back and watch the replay if you miss something or if you miss looking at Steve. You can. Did I just see a cat go in the door up there behind me? if you miss looking at Steve, I wish I had a picture of Steve. Wait a minute, I do, but it's going to take up the whole scope. There's oh, nope, he ain't made it back. Y'all? Everybody says you're up to something. They said this is planned. You're scheming something. Oh man. Yeah, AGT. I get you as far as it's not a mugshot, but that. Whoa, hey, welcome back, Steve. How are you, fella?
I'm back.
Yeah, I hear you. That's good. Steve, I know a few IT guys that if you needed to like hire one to come like fix your stuff for you, we could probably work that out. And he's gone again. And he's back.
Yeah. Had to say a few choice words there. Like I told you, they
Mercy.
moved me up to management. Obviously, you promote.
You forgot
the
everything
ineptitude.
you knew. Oh man. I see. Well, I'm trying to go through the comments. They slammed me for a minute there, and then you distracted me with your disappeared act.
Well, I was trying to dig up an old photo of me. Nope. Dang
So,
it, there it goes again.
well, yep, your camera's
Okay, so my computer is refusing to let me browse photos. I was going to try to pull up an old photo of me, but obviously that's not happening. My computer is protecting me. It's part of my anti-malware, obviously. So let me get this fixed again.
Oh, oh my goodness! Isn't it great when the IT guy is having such terrible luck with his IT? Oh
Quiet
me.
you.
Oh, my eyes are burning now, Steve. You're making my head hurt. You gotta quit. Oh. Well, I mean, I can turn my brightness up, guys, but I don't know that is going to. How about right there? It looks a little too bright on my screen, and maybe because I changed monitors, this monitor is a lot brighter. But anyway, there you go. Maybe y'all can see me better now. Oof, makes my blonde show a little worse. Uh, anyway. Yes, Steve. What kind of photo you trying to show is what they want to know.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh wow.
10 years. Aren't you looking for the 20-year of service? Uh, yeah. Well, let's just say I have been in law. Well, that picture was taken 30. What's it? 2024. 31 or 32 years ago, I think. I think it was 31 or 32 years since that photo was taken. So, and I've been in law enforcement now since 1999. So 20,
Coming up on 25 years.
fixed to be coming up on 25 years. Yeah, I had a little brief hiatus where I got out of it for a little while when I swapped agencies, but yeah, all in all, 25 years because I started academy in '99, and 25 years is going to get me a retirement plan, and I'm going to be out of there hopefully. They're still saying you're up to something.
Well,
Did you have to go to the
there.
bathroom and you just didn't want to tell
No.
everybody you had to go to the bathroom?
When the application crashes, it then like locks up the webcam. So I got to like go in the right order of deactivating the webcam in the software, unplugging and plugging back in the camera, then turning on the virtual webcam. It's ridiculous.
Hey, that's right. Exactly, Sam. This isn't gray. This is like the Lariat package on the F-150. It comes with all the chrome, baby. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
give up.
Shelby. Steve froze again. Somebody call that man an IT guy. Oh, jeez. Oh, Steve, quit playing with your computer.
I barely doing anything at this point.
Maybe you need some more sheep. Oh. Jenny says that turning my brightness up isn't going to make your computer any smarter. Oh, me. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, we get to talking. No, there's not even a logo. Oh, Lord. It's spreading. Steve's computer done caught the virus. But, all right, we got a question here. Is that a question? The easiest way, Rusty, would be basically all you got to do is make yourself a square. Whatever the thickness of your material is, create yourself a little box. The thickness of the material and however long it needs to be structurally sound enough to support it. Hey, Steve, welcome back. Welcome back, Steve.
I'm not touching anything.
Keep your hands to yourself, Steve.
I'm not touching anything.
But you take, and the thickness of your material is going to be the width of the hole that you'll need, and then decide whether you need it. Like I usually try to stay in like rounded numbers, 100 or 200 or whatever. And then you create that, and then just do a round base. I like to throw a few little pieces around the bottom of it to kind of round the edges. And then you would take and do the same thing with the bottom of whatever it is you're sitting on there. And to just put those guys together, you can either do it where it's a friction fit, or you can leave yourself a little space for some glue. But yeah. Somebody said I'm married above my pay grade. I'm not arguing. I did. Guilty as charged. There's been plenty of times that if I were her, I'd probably kick me to the curb. So I'm just glad she's very patient. The good Lord blessed me with that for sure. Because y'all wouldn't have recognized me 10 years ago. Let's just put it that way. I was a lot different person. I have been through, working night shifts. I have been through a bout with PTSD / depression / doing all kinds of crazy stuff that could have got me killed. And finally landed on sawmilling, woodworking, and staying at home instead of out doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing all the time. That was either going to get me killed or get me in trouble. So a lot has changed, and I thank her for that, as well as the good Lord above for giving me the opportunity to change my ways. And I'm a lot happier and a lot better these days than what I used to be. So, and I plan on staying this way. But anyway, yeah, enough of that. But
I'm just trying to make sure my computer's not freaking out.
Steve's up there sweet talking his computer. But anyway, Chris said he just makes a couple of J shapes for slotted boards for stands. Yeah, there's like 10 different ways you can make those stands, but the simplest is the old notch in the base. Of course, you can get really complicated and put you some 45 offsets and angles in there and stuff. But yeah. Shelby, no, I am not retired yet. I have 19 months remaining until I'm eligible to punch out, because I just the way things work. But I will in 19 months I will be eligible to retire with 25 years of service in the state system. And I will also, because of the job, we get bonus years for every 5 years of service. I get credit for an extra year. Which means that when I retire out, I'll retire with 30 years paid. Like they'll pay me as if I worked 30 years, even though I only worked 25. And so that's what I'm working towards right now. I did have some years of service in Montgomery, Alabama that I had to buy back from 1999 to 2001 because they were a different retirement system. And so all the extra money that I can muster with the Clack Shack right now, I'm saving that up to purchase back those years of service so that I can actually go in 19 months if I so choose. I don't have to. I can keep working, but if the business, making things and what I do out here continues to grow, I'm hoping that by the time I get ready to or eligible to retire, I will be able to do so and come out here and just do this stuff every day. That to me would be like living the dream, and that's what I'm working towards right now. And I'm hoping that maybe I can talk Brandy into coming with me and retiring with me, and we can just be a husband and wife business and not have to worry about going to work every day. Maybe even have time to go see Steve one weekend or something.
Well, I'm rolling up on 24 years in my employment at the college, and unfortunately, I just got a mid-career retirement seminar opportunity. So if that tells you anything,
Mid, mid
mid
career.
mid-career, yes, yes. Well, I started there young, and our retirement system is a little bit different. I could technically retire in 10 years, but the cut is drastic versus
Yeah.
pushing on. So we'll see. We'll see how
Well,
what it,
that's the one thing that I will say about Alabama. Public servant pay in Alabama, especially in law enforcement, it's not great. Pretty much my entire career, I've had to work at least one full time job and two part time jobs. Pretty much my entire career, and even then, uh, tires for a car, braces for a kid, stuff like that would send chills down your spine because it's like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Luckily, as y'all have stated before, I did marry above my pay grade. My wife is good at business management and finance management, and so she has juggled that stuff and made it work all these years. And I'm at the point now to where hopefully I will be able to retire and enjoy what I do. Samuel, do I know where Bear Creek Swamp is? Pretty sure I have waded Bear Creek Swamp if you're talking about the one that's just south of Montgomery. Before I got in law enforcement, I actually worked with Ashland Tree Expert Company, and I wasn't necessarily an expert. I did do a lot of tree work, and so that's where that's what I did for the first 7 years of my adulthood was climb trees every day and run heavy equipment for Ashland for a long time. Actually, when I left there, I was actually a crew foreman and went into law enforcement. And from cutting trees to being a police officer, I took like a $3 an hour pay cut, which was terrible.
so there's a question from Verl. Either of you incorporating AI in your work? He's tried a few line drawing generators, and they do a pretty good job. I dabble with it. I've honestly used it more for at my normal job, creating a base for documentation or policies and such. It's really good at things like that. Now, as far as generating graphics and images, it's been hit or miss for me. But like in my last video, I where is it? Had it generate.
The dragon.
No.
Nope, it's the wolf. I thought it was the dragon.
Yeah, this wolf image was generated by Bing AI, and came out pretty well. I was pretty happy with that one, so I went ahead and burned that. But I asked it at one point, give me an image of a father and son flying model airplanes, and the images that came back were quite ridiculous. So it is fun to play with, and I think it's going to get even better. Looking at it at how we use it at work or could use it at work when you can actually tie it into some of your specific data and information and such. It's kind of scary, but interesting at the same time to see the kind of stuff it can produce. And I think it's going to help a lot of us be able to produce some better quality content by, if I could tell AI, create a presentation graphic explaining how laser kerf is generated, to actually have a graphic of a laser beam going through and, the material and the line item, rather than me having to sit there and draw it all out, that would help produce better content. I don't like seeing like the fully 100%, AI generated content right now, although in the future, I think it's going to get harder and harder to tell some of that, but it is fun to play with. And there's a lot of free tools out there to play with it too. So I wouldn't go and buy something right now.
Yeah. Mark says he had 38 years when he retired. 38 and a half
Very
years
nice.
when he retired. Yeah, that's a pretty good stint. And then of course, Handle It Corral is say he got 33, only needs 30. That's like I said, that's the one thing that I will say about the state and the retirement system that I have is, a lot of retirements make you wait until you're a certain age to retire and start drawing a check. You have to be anywhere from 52 to 62 or 60 or whatever. I get to start drawing my check the day I retire, and it will stay with me until the day I leave here. And if I option, which I'm going to, if something happens to me, it will actually carry on for Brandy for the duration. So that's one thing that I could say about the job that I have is it does have really good retirement. And I actually been paying into a separate retirement for the past 15 years that I'm vested in. And I've started a third now that I'm contributing to. So between the three, maybe I can make it, and my business. I don't plan on just stopping, working. There are things that I can do to make a little bit extra money if I need to, but I'm going to try to keep the customers that I have, keep making stove covers as much as they pain me some days, keep making, cutting boards and all the other little things that I do. And I think I can supplement enough to make it doable. So,
Yeah, they changed it up here a number of years ago. So unfortunately, I'm not under that older system, which would allow me to retire earlier. But it is what it is. They, I, I'm not in any way complaining about my job. I just more concerned about uh, the complexity and my mental ability to keep up with it over the years. More so from a stress management, and just getting tired of dealing with the not so much fixing technology, but dealing with the security aspects of it has just it's gotten ridiculous. The amount of
yeah.
time, money, and resources we spend on just keeping nefarious people out of our systems while still trying to allow our people to do their day-to-day work and our students to learn. It's frustrating. So that's where I hope I can hold on, because it is a good job. I enjoy what I'm doing. I like work. We work for community college, which is really a trade school. We offer some of the gen ed classes as well, but I'm dealing with kids going to school to learn computers, nursing, computer integrated machining, auto mechanics, ag mechanics, welding, HVAC stuff. That's all the cool stuff. That's where I enjoy. If I worked at a normal university, I probably would have gone insane by now. But I
Yeah.
like where I work at. So
Yeah. Yeah, up north knowledge says that military is the same way, and he's been drawing since he was 48. I won't make it to that window. I'll be 50 when I start drawing my retirement check. But hey, the sooner the better. If I knew back then what I know now, I would have actually, which I tried. I mean, I started trying to get on in law enforcement when I turned 18, and it took me years to actually be able to land a job. I was 25 by the time I actually got hired by an agency, and they put me through the academy and everything. But if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have got a state job picking up trash on the side of the road. So I could have go ahead and at least got into that state retirement system, earlier because I could have retired at, if I'd have went to work at 18, I could have retired in my 30s, and been drawing a check. But now I
well,
know.
I think his ears must have been burning, because we've got Cody joining us, and he's the man, myth, and legend behind Cadence Manufacturing and the Jenny Bits.
Oh, oh, is he?
And yeah, and when you get that Shape Coco 5, we definitely need to get you hooked up with some Jenny Bits to be working on that eventually, because I think you're going to really enjoy them once you get comfortable with it. So
Yeah, and like I said, I've
great
been
to have you
watching
here,
some.
Cody.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of content where people are using the bits and they're talking about them and the differences in the speeds and of course, how they're manufactured. I think I saw a video where somebody actually went to their production facility somewhere. It looked like because it was a cabinet like CNC. I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I've been watching some content lately and doing some research, and I plan to get there, but I don't want to go. Like I said, I don't want to go buy a brand new bit that costs me a lot of money and then wreck it because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I'll get
And
there.
And I gotta jump back to our YouTube recommendations because I don't know why this one blew by me, but for people getting started in CNC stuff or wanting to learn more, check out Hamilton Dilbeck. He has an awesome channel of his whole journey going back when he got his Onefinity and working with it, and now he's actually got a whole website called CNC with Me, where he has weekly projects and monthly projects that you can get kind of connected with him, and he uses 3 bits from Cody to do all these projects. He's going them through the year. So definitely that's a good way to check out. He's got a lot of videos and files out there for people getting started or people that have been doing it for a while as well. So um, just that one just sparked my memory on that with that starter bit set. So a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, I have to look into that. Like I said, I'm almost to the point where I feel confident, but I want to wait till I get the new machine just to make sure I don't like lose
Oh
my
yeah.
mind going from one machine to the other. Uh, like I said, so far I've only had one mishap, and the problem is I was trying different hold down techniques, and I went for the whole screw it into the spoil board approach, and I forgot to reset my X and Y, and so the cut went out wider than I had anticipated, and it took out one of my screws, and it wrecked that bit. Now I heard it when it hit it, but it was by that time it was too late. The damage was done. Bit was the first quarter inch or so of the bit was chewed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I
Yeah.
did run it for probably 2 or 3 more days until some replacements showed up. That's when I learned that you have to keep replacements on hand. And then when the replacements show up, it was fine. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Like I said, that is my plan. I've been watching some of their stuff as well as, like I said, some of the other. There's a lot of different selections out there, but I have seen a lot of guys talking about him, and especially with it being a small business or whatever. That's always like to support those guys because it won't be too long when I do get to that retirement date. That'll be me. I'll be needing some support as well. So,
Wow. It's
well,
it's
yeah.
something I look out for as well. But I mean, I love the bits, and Cody's been an awesome support to the community and makers, and he's also a laser guy too. Does both, so check out what he's doing. Check out Hamilton, and as you get your shape Oko going, get comfortable with that. Definitely need to get you someone to try out. So
Well, I've got everything set up. I mean, I've got the 64 by 64
you
table.
got the table ready.
I've already got my cable
Yeah,
management stuff set up. I mean, it's
just
ready. Dust
just waiting for it to
collection.
ship.
I got the dust collection set up, the whole 9 yards, and yeah, no machine. So, like I said, anybody that happens to work in shipping at Carbide 3D, go find the box with my name on it, put it on a truck for me, please. The weight is killing me. But yeah, it's an hour and 57 minutes. So guys, if you haven't already, don't forget put your name on the map for the map that Steve built. There should be links in the description, Facebook and YouTube as well. It's more or less for us to be able to see, and just because it's amazing to me. I'm very humbled by the whole YouTube experience. As some of y'all don't know the backstory, I never had planned on starting a YouTube channel. I had some people in some Facebook groups that said, "Hey, I've got the same sawmill that you have. I saw you posting pictures in the group. How do you do this?" And so I would just grab a GoPro, go up there, and show them how to, adjust the tension on the blade or the tracking on the blade, or how I had mine set up to do stuff on the sawmill. And it just kind of went from there. And 2.5 years later, 2 years, yeah, about 2 years later, boom, here we are. But I am humbled by the fact that we got people from Australia, we got California, Maine, Michigan, all the way down to Texas, and probably other places that you guys haven't mentioned. And it's awesome. And I enjoy sharing and helping you guys. And I know Steve does as well. And some of you may have saw the post the other day in the Laser Engraver community page, which if you're not a member, go join up on that. But we had a couple people coming in there, and they were sharing like video links and stuff like that. And I got to looking back at their activity, and that's all they were doing was sharing. They weren't answering questions. They weren't interacting with anything else. And so I basically put them to where I have to approve their content, because I don't mind it. You know, guys want to share a video link or something like that. That's cool. But when people ask questions, you know, and you know the answer, help them out. You know, that's what the community page is about. I don't want to see it go the way of some of the other pages, to where it's constant. You know, hey, buy this or pay me for that, or send me your graphic and I'll make it into an SVG. Me and Steve are trying our best to keep that group to where it is a basically a free help center for you guys. And I do share some of my stuff in there, but I also answer a lot of questions in that group, and so does Steve. I try not to overshare in there, because I do have my own Facebook page to put stuff on, and y'all are more than welcome to go hit the follow button on that guy and message me that way. But yeah, I really enjoy it, and if y'all see anything that we need to change or do different, by all means, let us know nicely, please. Uh, but you know, I know Steve and I both have been working to have better audio, better video, better computers. I couldn't help it. Sorry, my bad. It's too early, isn't it? It's still too early. But anyway, so anything that y'all see that we can do that would make it a little bit better, feel free to let us know in a nice way.
Definitely.
But anyway, go put yourself on the map, and I'm going to shut up for a minute and let Steve talk.
Yeah, check out the map. I see that we've had a few more yet the tail end of the show, so I'll be updating that just shortly after the show. So we do love seeing everybody there, and yeah, I've been a little my schedule, life has gotten in the way. I've been a little off my schedule this past couple months, including this past week. A couple of my boys ended up with COVID again, and so we've been dealing with that. But I'm trying to get back in the swing of things and trying to keep everything going. So I appreciate everybody that has been watching the videos and commenting and all that. So we'll continue to do that, and appreciate the ideas there as well. And yeah, just happy to see y'all here. Great to see the questions and the comments and the fun, and it's fun. You know, we don't do these lives for because we're paid well for it. We really enjoy interacting with the community and being able to talk with each other, but talk with the group quite as much. So we'll keep doing it as long as people keep showing up.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt. Did we ever get Nevada filled in?
Oh yeah,
hadn't looked at
we
it.
do. We've got. I'm guessing it's probably 3DHP. It's Bob S in South Las Vegas.
Sweet.
So
All right,
we've got
we've
Nevada.
got all 50 states now.
No, we're missing Alaska, but we got the
Alaska.
48 plus
All right.
Hawaii.
If you got any friends in Alaska, guys, send them an email, tell them to subscribe and put themselves on the map for us. And then we got Hawaii. We got Hawaii. I know we had 2 or 3 on Hawaii.
Yep. Yep.
Do we count Puerto Rico at this point?
I think we actually have someone in Puerto Rico. Well, maybe.
All right. Clang's asking about the back. So far, my back's a lot better. I will say that I'm starting to get my strength back. I'm taking it really slow. Try not to overdo it. I have been, picking up like 50-pound bags of feed as I used to. I can, lumber, like even ladders and stuff that I used to would stay away from when I first had the back surgery, because they told me to basically go from 25 pounds and just gradually work my way up. And that if I felt any pain, to not do it. And so far, I can, I haven't got back to the old days of grabbing 2 50-pound bags of chicken feed and throwing them both on my shoulders yet. But I am back up to 1 bag of feed at a time. 5 gallons of water to go water the chickens it doesn't hurt anymore. So I'm getting my strength back, and I am really thankful for that. I still have a little bit of tingling sensation in that nerve that got pinched when my disc broke. But the doctor said that could last for months, maybe a year, or maybe the rest of my life. And at this point, if I don't get any more mobility or any more progress towards healing from where I am today, I'm thankful for where I am. So if you're having back problems, just what I would tell you is do your research, find a really good doctor. Don't get one that tells you, if you get a bad feeling about it, get away from them. And when they tell you to take it easy and don't do anything crazy. Take it easy. Don't do anything crazy because I'm getting to the point now to where I'm not back where I was before I started having back problems, but I'm getting really, really close. My strength is coming back, and I can twist and turn and move the way that I used to move. So that is definitely an improvement. So Cody Elkins is said he's from Arizona. So
Hmm.
he's close to Nevada. He could just cheat your pen over a little bit. Albert, there's a link, should be a link in the description for both the map as well as the little form to fill out to put yourself on it. And you don't have to put your home address. We're not trying to get your home address or anything like that. You can literally just drop a pin on your post office or down the street at the gas station or the Starbucks or whatever, just to give us an idea of about where you are. That way, when we look at the map, we can tell what states everybody's in. Albert, yeah, I got an inversion table, but when I was using it, I had a ruptured disc, and so it really didn't help at that point. But it was because I went from not having back problems to a ruptured disc in like no time. And the doctors just kept telling me it was bulging until they cut me open and went in there, and they're like, okay, it's not just bulging. So they wound up, my 30-minute surgery turned into an hour and a half surgery.
And that's got to be scary for the person out in the waiting room waiting for you.
Yeah, Brandy about had a meltdown because the doctors and nurses told her, "Hey, we're going to take you back here. It'll be about 10 to 15 minutes, prep, getting him ready, getting him changed, getting sedation and all that. 30 minutes in surgery, and then we'll come get you." And an hour and a half later, she's still sitting in the waiting room, just kind of like.
So
and then the doctor comes out, and it's like, "Oh my God."
So, I'm a professional waiting room person. I always seem to be the person that takes someone to the hospital and waits for them. So I've gotten used to this a little bit. But it was kind of cool this last time. They sign you up as long as the patient approves it. They'll sign you up for text updates. And so I kind of got regular updates of the status of it and if anything was good, bad, or otherwise. So I really appreciated that this last time rather than just waiting until they're like, okay, they're in recovery, you can come see them. So that's impressive that things they do. But
yeah, Dennis, I don't know. Maybe one day we will get to 100,000. I'm trying to get there before I retire. That would be awesome. But I don't know if it's an unrealistic goal. But I do want to get there.
well, if you don't set the goal, you'll never
Hey,
get there. But
that's the way I look at it. I'm going to set my goals high, and if I fall short, then maybe it'll still be a good day. But anyway.
So, well, we've run over by almost 10 minutes now. So,
yes, and I got to work in the morning.
ooh, that's too bad.
Once you
So,
get
let's
another
get the
holiday?
It's President's Day tomorrow.
Yeah, but we don't get that one.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I'm hoping to get caught up on things.
Well, maybe you'll have time tomorrow to work on your computer.
I'm hoping maybe I got another box to open, so that might happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Since you're the senior guy on this, I'll let you answer that one. Up North Knowledge wants to know, what advice can you give to a fairly new YouTube content creator that is adding lasers to a woodworking channel?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on how well established your channel is. Sometimes changing content, I mean, at least lasers are tangential to woodworking, so that's not too far of a leap, but it can be a risk really changing really hard. I mean, I went from RC airplanes to more general workshop stuff, which is really focused on the lasers and the CNCs. And I know that I've lost a lot of my original subscribers, and that's fine. I mean, that's where I'm going as a person. So keep that in mind a little bit, but overall, you just got to do what you enjoy doing. And because then the content needs to be just as much about you as it is the subject. You need to show that you're interested in it. You need to have some people will be able to tell if you're not into it and you're just kind of walking through it. So kind of focus on that. But just I say this coming off a couple months of not being consistent, but consistency really helps. You know, if that means you can do 2 videos a month, try to do it, you publish, every other week. If you can do 1 video a week, great. Try to make sure they're consistently going out there. Be in the comment section of your own, try to reply to every single comment out there, and jump in on lives like this, jump in on other channels, make comments, all that helps out. But the big thing being is, be comfortable and be confident and be happy about what you're doing. And then that's going to help you produce better content. So outside of that, audio trumps video. Make sure you got really good audio first before going into other gadgets and
Yeah.
whatnot. And just don't be afraid. Don't get lost in your own head too. Mediocre content is better than no content. You'll grow and you'll get better with it. You look at, ask any YouTube channel. They'll go say, you don't see my original videos. I've blocked them because they were so bad. That's not true for everyone, but yeah,
I was going to say,
you'll see a progression.
Mine are still there. You can go back in my channel and look at the oldest videos, and it was my little GoPro Hero, and the quality of my camera equipment has drastically increased. But like I said, like Steve said, the most important thing is audio. I can watch a video that has poor video but good audio. I can't watch a really good video that has good video with terrible audio. I was watching somebody's channel the other day, and their audio. I watch them all the time, but the audio in this one particular video it was just, and I couldn't handle it. So I had to miss that video. But like I said, I didn't set out to start a YouTube channel. Mine just kind of happened, and I started having fun. And that's the one thing that I will say is, if you're doing something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy sharing, it makes it easy. It's fun. I literally come out here and play in my shop, and my wife says it all the time. I just play. I just have fun. I do the same things whether you guys are here or whether you aren't. I'm doing the same things, and I'm the same guy that I am. If you see me at the hardware store, or if you see me at the Waffle House, or if you see me here, this is me. I'm not reading a teleprompter. I don't have a script. I don't even have notes. None of my videos. Every now and then, if I'm doing a new machine review, I'll write some notes on a piece of paper just to remind myself to discuss these things. But I don't do scripts. I don't. Be real. That's the one thing that I will say. That's kind of my motto. I watch other YouTube channels and I see how they, do with the cameras, and they're moving things around and it's zooming in and out, and they got all these cool lights, and which, now don't get me wrong, I like my lighting. I like my ambiance, but it is mine. You won't find another YouTube channel that has this kind of little setup, because I'm not trying to be anybody else. I want to be me, because in reality, if you guys don't like me, you're not going to watch my content, regardless of how hard I try. You're not going to watch it. So I'm going to be me, because I feel like I'm a likable guy, for the most part. Unless you work for me, then you might not think so. But just be yourself, enjoy it, have fun. If you're not having fun, it ain't worth it. No matter how bad you think you want a YouTube channel, if you're not having fun, you're going to fail, because it is a lot of work. The bigger it gets, the more work it becomes. Mine is to the point now to where trying to answer all the comments, like Steve said, trying to reply to emails, trying to filter out the, hey, would you like to try this out? Hey, would you like to try that out? Filtering out all of that. So all of that stuff will become, I'm not going to say aggravating or anything, but it will become a bit of a job to keep up with all of it. So you got to enjoy it, or you'll stop. I see it a lot with some of the channels. They'll come out of the hole wide open, and then it's like they just, like a bottle rocket, and then they fall off. Do not let yourself get burnt out. That's with any profession, in my opinion, or anything that you do. But anyway, hopefully this was enjoyable for some folks, and if you like this, there'll be more to come. Put it on the calendar, Sunday, 7 o'clock, unless Steve wants to change it one day. I guess this will be our time slot from now on. But yeah,
it's working well so far. So I think we'll
we're
be
not
here
killing
for
it.
as long as we can.
we're not killing it, but I think we're doing pretty good for a couple of guys in their shop. I think we do okay. But tell a friend if you got other folks that are into this type of content, send them our way. And I know Steve's got his new X40 video he just put out yesterday or the day before yesterday at his igloo.
Hey, I've already taken the igloo apart. Okay, it was temporary.
And so y'all go check that out. The X40 is what I'm running. Steve's got one now. So if you don't believe me when I tell you what the machine's capable of, you can check with him. But it's a big machine. It carries a little bit a slower pace than some of the other machines, but what it lacks in speed, it makes up for in punch. But anyway, go check that video out. And like I said, I've got a couple that I've did this weekend. I did another one today on making stencils because I had a couple people ask me about it, and I went ahead and pushed that out. It should be going out in the morning. But until next time, I mean that's all I got. Just stay motivated, and if just keep playing with the lasers, you'll learn it. One of these days, I'm gonna get as good as Steve.
Just well. Just get out there and have fun, enjoy it, and yeah, we'll see you all next week.
Yes, sir. Nice beaver. Seriously, what model is it? He says. It kills me every time somebody says that. You're gonna have to hang a sign off of that thing. All right, guys, y'all be careful and have a good night. Appreciate you. See you next week.
We'll see you.
I hit the wrong button. I'm over here hitting my stream deck, thinking I'm recording.